in a post-influencer world. Backdrop. Hi, everybody. I know you're coming in, so I'll just start because I only have 7 minutes, so don't mind me. My name is Donnetta Campbell, and I am the founder of TheSocialArchitects. We are a boutique agency that works with earned influencers and builds ecosystems of employee champions for brands. I've been doing this for about 8 years. I came out of public relations, very passionate about thought leadership and building thought leaders, and basically did everything across the board at big agencies in New York. But that was really my passion. And when digital kicked in, realized that thought leadership was social in the mix, and the digital landscape, everything was going to change. It was going to be very different than how we used to build thought leaders before that. So we've been working in that area. And I'm going to click through. And this is basically how our agency works, like crazy. We move messages around, we help leaders integrate with each other, cross-pollinate each other. And our passion has really been earned influencers, building big voices, helping them get beyond the walls, helping them take audiences with them when they do a speech and leave a room by driving them into social. And we've created, I think, 9 billion impressions over 500 events. We've got about 115 leaders, 1,500 leaders in our network, and we're working with some great brands now. So as this all started, we crazily tried to figure out how to navigate this landscape, and it wasn't always pretty. We made a lot of mistakes. It was crazy times trying to figure out how to deal with follows, likes, all of that kind of stuff. But as it's moved through, we've created a way forward, I believe, that's a really nice hybrid that's sophisticated enough for top leadership, and we deal with CEOs to the C-suite across the board at a very intimate level, and protect their brands, build their brands, and help them drive into their bigger brand, and help them help a cause, because it's all built on causes. So I'm going to then go to where we are now since the last year. Social, especially Twitter, which is my main passion. We also do the other platforms, but Twitter's a really great amplifier and driver. And with everything that's gone on, and the bots and everything else, the platforms are all changing, and it's just a crazy time out there. So we've switched a lot of the strategies that we've used, but in this state, everybody's stating point of views. You don't know what's real, what's fake, and all that kind of stuff, and you're watching the social channels make those corrections. Luckily, we have members from those social channels on our board that kind of help us navigate that. But in that, we're realizing that it's like the tech bubble. It just blew up, and everybody's numbers dropped, because if you had people that weren't using their social handle, if they were a bot or whatever it may be, they knocked it down. But what we found with the earned influencers is that the engagement is higher than ever. The communities are there. The topics are there. We connect people through topics. So purpose-driven got a makeover. And with that, it opened a new sense of opportunity. People, you know the difference, right? An era of fake news in the cause. Was it all just for an agenda? People, followers, society lost their faith in influencers, and in many ways, the platform. And so now the makeover comes, and when we open a new sense of opportunity, people get the difference in the sense of the era of fake news, low trust, political disruption, which we stay totally away from. We recognize that. We saw the opportunity to help people find their authentic voices and use those communities to raise the social conversation to different levels and be able to cross-pollinate messaging through similar interests through those leaders. So everybody in our group, in the community that is a leader, has all these different topics they care about, and there's places they connect to others in that group, right? And so we built this ecosystem that might not make sense to everybody, but in my head it does, in the sense of where messages can drop through, where they can go through an organization, from the leader with a very strategic aim, and where it can spin out through other companies and other executives that are common interest, not competitive, to help get them out of their silo and get that messaging out further, right? So then I'm going to touch on, where'd that go? Okay, so just the ecosystem example is where I started, was with a marketing professor at Oxford that was big in women's empowerment, Linda Scott. She, in that pursuit, then started to pick up clients like Abigail Posner, who's here from Google, Valerie, that was from Condé Nast, Jeff from Microsoft, Chitra, that was formerly Microsoft, and then cross-pollinating through all of them, there's places that we've created incredible results by overlapping these leaders and the messaging. So now Abigail's just been honored by the UN. I call her the reluctant advocate because she's now a big women's empowerment voice. And Jeffrey and Valerie just met right before Ad Week and are now looking to do business together and did an interview for his podcast for Microsoft. So things, it basically took down regular routes of communication and kind of catapulted it where it was moving much faster, and they're thrilled with what they're seeing out of it. And that's kind of showing with Valerie and Jeff, because it just literally was like 10 touch points and all these things lit up for the two of them. And Valerie actually was my content DJ in this, which is her specialty. And if you ever look at her Instagram, her mashups at the top and the stories are just phenomenal. So you should check her out. And so, agencies look at this, brands look at this like, what, how does this help me? It's a lot of people that know each other. It's meaningful conversations about things that aren't a hard sell, but whether it's best practices, trends, something new rolling out from a company in a CSR or a leadership perspective, and then going through relevant voices. And those relevant voices that we can orchestrate through give it the traction that it needs to start picking up a lot of energy. And from that, other people start to pick it up, and it just goes viral very easily. So it's almost like these little mini ecosystems fueling a bigger ecosystem of energy that's all positive for a brand. And I think that it's really interesting in a lot of ways. We're working on social selling models for big clients, big tech clients, and we're also working on social HR models to empower employees for retention, all that kind of stuff. But I think it helps a sales force. I think it can drive a brand message, especially if you build your brand on purpose and causes, which you match those partners with what you need to be matched with, that matches up nicely, and then that was an interesting sentence. And then you basically have to be transparent on social anyway, so those causes can take you to the finish line by marketing a new launch for anything, for any brand. So I always encourage that. My time is up. So I've got a lot more ideas on this, and I'd love to talk to anybody, but thank you so much for bearing with me today in this rapid fire speech.